The Chargers have fired Anthony Lynn after 4 seasons as the team's head coach. The Chargers won 4 in a row to finish 2020, but a 7-9 record was Lynn's second losing season in a row. He leaves the team with a 33-31 regular season record with only 1 playoff win in 2018.
You know, he started, I was talking to a friend last night about this. He started losing the same way, which is always trouble because then you get a brand. So he would get leads. I know Anthony, good dude, alpha. They never took a play off. That team played hard, so he'll get a second job. But Anthony got into this thing where they'd get leads, he'd get conservative, and they'd lose leads. And then in the last couple of weeks, he started listening to analytics more, and they didn't, and they won. But it was a little bit too little and late. And also, Justin Herbert was so darn good that you get to a point where you're like, okay, we may have like John Elway here. We got to get this thing right fast.
Had they had a season like this, perhaps with Tyrod Taylor,
he'd keep his job.
He'd probably have another year.
I think he would.
And we hadn't seen anything from Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert started the clock on a lot of people.
Like 5 minutes into the game.
He started the clock on Tua. He started the clock on Anthony Lynn.
Yep.
And, I guess it's fortunate for Justin. Well, we'll see who they hire, but it's fortunate for Chargers fans because now you have the quarterback of the future. He's a rookie, so you have several more years of not having to pay him a lot of money, and they already have a lot of talent on that team.
Oh, yeah.
So they're in a great situation moving forward. The only unfortunate thing for the Chargers is the division that they're in.
Right.
So you're kind of always fighting for a wild card spot in that situation, at least for the next 10 years with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But Justin Herbert had an incredible season. He set the rookie record for touchdown passes with 31.
I think you said it right. It's a great way to say it. He set the clock. He reset the clock on everybody. Like when Justin Herbert came in, you know what? We're a little less patient with Tua. I mean, that's the reality. I look at Tua and I'm like, okay, I saw Justin Herbert.
Joe Burrow, you should expect. He's the number 1 overall pick. He was national champion and had one of the greatest seasons for a college football quarterback ever.
He better start looking like Justin Herbert. That's the reality of it. When Andrew Luck came in, all the young quarterbacks got judged like, well, if Andrew Luck can do it with the worst offensive line in football, why aren't you winning?
You're going to be judged by your peers, contemporaries, no matter what. But certainly you're going to be evaluated by your draft class on a higher level.
Yeah.
Because you should be, in theory, not only at least on the same level as them, but better. You were drafted before him.
Yeah.
Now, 1 space before him, but still, he started the clock on a lot of people. So I don't know what direction the Chargers are going to go in, if they're going to go with a coordinator or a former head coach, but they're now in competition with several other teams as well because there are a lot of jobs available.
You better challenge Justin Herbert, 4-point college student. The knock on the Oregon staff was
they didn't push him.
And they couldn't keep up with him. Like, the offense wasn't sophisticated enough for him. Because we saw him go to the NFL. We're like, God, Oregon coaches.
You look like a different player.
Like, what are you doing? So you better find somebody that can keep wits with him. Because when you're a college athlete and you're over a 4-point student in biology, he's probably a pretty quick kid.
I'd like to see them bring in an offensive coach.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins were the odd team out in the AFC playoff picture after losing to the Bills.
Wow.
Tua struggled against Buffalo, threw 3 interceptions in the game. The usually strong Miami defense also had a tough time. They allowed a season-high 56 points. And Josh Allen put up big numbers, 224 yards and 3 touchdowns before being replaced by Matt Barkley in the second half. This was the worst case scenario for the Miami Dolphins.
And Tua.
Yeah. Yes. So, look, losing to the Bills is that's okay.
Yeah,
that's allowed. The Bills are a Super Bowl bound team. They're playing out of their minds, and Josh Allen is having an MVP season. That's acceptable. Now, the defense, I don't have an explanation for. 56 points is a disaster.
Maybe it's just Buffalo's. Maybe it's Josh Allen.
Buffalo is playing incredible, but look, you're not going to have a Super Bowl performance by your defense every single